I came home one morning, coffee still hot in my hand, and found the HOA president's Lexus parked smack in the middle of my private workshop. My tools shoved aside, welding bench blocked, like I didn't exist. And when I told her to move it, she doubled down, tried to force her way back in with hired muscle, only to end up losing everything when I sealed the doors shut and exposed her little empire. Act 1. The Spark of Conflict. My name's Mike. I'm in my late 30s, a welder by trade. And this workshop, it isn't just 4 walls and a roof, it's my livelihood. Every job, every project, every spare dollar I've scraped together runs through that shop. My wife, Emily, and I moved into Ridgewood Estates thinking we'd finally found peace. A quiet community, a lake nearby, neighbors who smiled when you waved. But what no one warned us about was Karen. Patricia Karen Reynolds, HOA president, mid-40s, sharp blonde bob, designer blazers even on a Saturday. She carried a clipboard like a badge and talked like she owned the place. Always by her side was her husband Tom Tall, broad, the kind of guy who never said much, but made you feel like he was standing there just to back up her threats. At first, it was the usual petty garbage. A violation for leaving my truck on the driveway too long. A $50 fine for not rolling in the trash bin by 7p. On the dot, Emily said. Let it go, Mike. Don't start a war. So, I paid the first couple. That was my mistake. Because once Karen knew I'd fold, she went further. One Tuesday morning, I walked into my workshop and stopped dead. There, in the middle of the concrete floor, was Karen's shiny silver Lexus. She'd pulled right in, blocking my welder, my bench, the lift. My whole shop was held hostage. She waltzed out from behind the car like she was touring her property. Oh, Mike, the HOA has decided your workshop isn't up to code. I'll just be storing my vehicle here until we sort it out. I laughed, thought she was joking. But when I told her to move it, her face hardened. Article 6, Section B. HOA property supersedes private use in cases of community interest. That's not a bylaw. She made it up. But she stood there, smug, while her Lexus sat in the middle of my livelihood. Emily whispered, "Don't, Mike, just don't." But I couldn't let it go. That was the day I realized Karen wasn't just an annoyance. She was a parasite, and she'd picked the wrong host. Jiffy. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. The following week was hell. Every morning, Karen's Lexus was parked in my shop. Every evening, Tom would stand across the street, arms folded, just watching. I started losing jobs, couldn't get projects done, couldn't meet deadlines. Clients cancelled, money bled away, notices from the HOA piled up, fines for noise violations, fines for hazardous materials. One even claimed my acetylene tanks were weapons. All complete fiction. One night I sat in the dark shop, staring at my tools gathering dust. For the first time in years, I thought about giving it up, selling the house, selling the shop, just letting her win. Emily found me there, head in my hands. She said softly, "Mike, is it worth it? Maybe we move." I shook my head, but inside, I wasn't sure anymore. Maybe I was being stubborn. Maybe I was dragging her into something I couldn't win. Then came the twist. A neighbor, old Mr. Collins, slipped me a folder one afternoon. Inside copies of invoices, signed by Karen, showing HOA funds being paid out to companies that didn't exist. Landscaping jobs billed at triple cost. Security contracts with no employees. And then the kicker, storage fees charged for community property. That community property, my workshop. They weren't just abusing power, they were laundering money, funneling it through the HOA and using residents as their piggy bank. Suddenly, the fight wasn't just about me, it was about every neighbor who'd been squeezed dry, every family Karen had bullied into paying or moving. I wasn't going to roll over, I was going to burn her paper kingdom to the ground. Act 3. Climax and Justice. I set my plan in motion. First, I waited. I knew Karen couldn't resist flaunting her power. Sure enough, one evening she marched up with Tom and 2 hired guys, one carrying a sledgehammer, the other a grinder. She pointed at my steel workshop doors and barked, "Cut it open." I stepped out from the shadows. "Funny thing, Karen," I said, "that shop, it's sealed. Permanently." She froze. "What did you do?" I smiled, poured 6 inches of reinforced concrete behind those doors, welded the hinges shut. "If your Lexus is in there, well, guess she's entombed." Her face went crimson. She screamed. That's destruction of HOA property. Neighbors started peeking from their porches, phones out, recording. The hired muscle swung the grinder, sparks flying, but barely scratched the reinforced frame. I crossed my arms, calm as stone, while Karen lost her mind, and then right on cue, sirens. 2 squad cars pulled up. Officers stepped out. Karen rushed over, fake tears rolling, shrieking about how I'd stolen her car and threatened her. I didn't say a word. I just handed the officers the folder of documents Mr. Collins had given me, invoices, bank transfers, fraud laid bare. And then I added a flash drive security footage of Karen parking her Lexus in my shop without permission. The cops flipped through the evidence. Their expressions changed. One officer turned to Karen and said, "Ma'am, you're under arrest for fraud, trespassing, and misuse of HOA funds." Her jaw dropped. "What? No, you can't." The cuffs clicked shut. Tom tried to intervene, but the neighbors had it all on video, him standing guard, backing her every step. He went down too. The 2 hired goons dropped their tools and bolted, leaving Karen screaming as the cops dragged her away. And me, I didn't celebrate. I didn't gloat. I just stood there in the cool evening air, breathing easy for the first time in months, watching the woman who thought she owned us all finally lose everything. Final beat. Karen and Tom were both charged. Fraud, embezzlement, criminal trespass. The HOA board dissolved. The accounts audited, and the money siphoned off was traced and frozen. The Lexus. Eventually, it was cut out of the shop, towed off, and auctioned. I didn't care. The workshop was mine again. Emily and I went back to work. Quiet, simple, exactly what we wanted in the first place. Final line lesson. When bullies build their empire on intimidation, the only way to win is to stop playing their game and show the truth in daylight.